Hey everyone, welcome to PhoneArena's in-depth video review of the Samsung Solstice II, the SGH-A817, which is available right now through AT&T for the contract price of $29.99. It's the follow-up to the Solstice from last year and retains a lot of similar specs. Aesthetically, there's nothing really different about the Solstice 2 versus its predecessor. It retains that plastic construction, which does has a tendency to scratch, but it does make the handset feel very lightweight, and it's fairly compact. It's nothing really too compelling about its design, just because it looks similar to any other touchscreen phone out there from Samsung's camp. Pretty much a good majority of the handset has remained unchanged from its predecessor, specifically the same size 3-inch display is found. It has the same resolution of 240 by 400 pixels, but instead of being a resistive panel, it is a capacitive one, so it's a little bit better as far as responsiveness. Although its color support is lacking at 65,000 versus the 262 from its predecessor, it does still look pretty good, especially in various lighting conditions. Although it doesn't support the best viewing angles, you'll still be able to make out the clear-looking text on the screen. Directly beneath the touchscreen, you got the physical buttons. You got the send and the back or clear key, which is circular. They all have a really good tactile response when you press them, and on top of that, they're very distinguishable. On the left side of the phone, you simply have the micro USB port, the decently sized volume rocker, which also offers a pretty good response when you press it down. While on the right edge, you simply have the dedicated camera key here, the task menu, and a switch here to lock-unlock the handset. Sadly, Samsung didn't upgrade the camera. We're still presented with the same 2-megapixel camera, no flash or even self-portrait mirror. And when you remove the back cover, it's going to give you access to the micro SD card slot, the battery, and SIM card slot. Similar to other Samsung feature phones, the Solstice 2 offers the Touchwiz experience, which at this point is starting to show its age, but thanks to the capacitive touchscreen, you're able to move about its 3 home panels a lot more easily versus the previous iteration. Now you can place the various widgets onto the home screen. Some of them are quite useful, while others are simply just launchers to specific applications. When you get to the main menu, it's laid out in your typical grid-like fashion. Luckily, the whole experience is pretty straightforward and simple. In terms of messaging, we're more than satisfied with the results on the Solstice 2 as it exhibits a pretty good responsive feel with both keyboards. You have the keypad here. If you enable T9, will offer a faster rate of inputting text. And of course, if you tilt it to landscape, it's going to offer you a well-sized keyboard. And we didn't have too much problems as far as speed typing away. AT&T's mobile email application is loaded on the handset, so it will offer a quick and convenient setup process for generic emails by simply offering your username and password. If you're big into social networking, you'll be happy with AT&T's SocialNet app, which basically aggregates all your accounts into one place. You have ones from Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, and even some RSS feeds. And if you prefer just to instant message friends, you'll have various clients such as AIM, Windows Live Messenger, and even Yahoo Messenger at your disposal. Even though it might not offer all the in-depth features of some smartphone web browsers out there, the Opera Mini one here on the Samsung Solstice 2 should be more than sufficient for most people. If you click in a specific area, it'll automatically resize the text to fit the length of the page, so it's easier to read. It might not offer kinetic scrolling, but it should be more than acceptable for most people out there. Even though it might not have the best music player interface out there, it's more than functional at its core. It'll display the track information, on-screen controls, and you'll have even the ability to change the equalizer settings. If you go back to the home screen, it's going to continue to play with the mini player, but unfortunately, audio quality from the speaker is a little bit on the screecher side. The only kinds of videos you'll be able to load on here are low-quality ones like the one we have here, which is encoded in MPEG-4 320 by 240 resolution. Might not have the best details, but luckily it's running real quick, but don't expect to see anything high definition. Visually, there's nothing really too appealing about the 2-megapixel camera with the Samsung Solstice 2. In fact, in outdoor conditions, images have a super soft look to them, which makes even the finest of details disappear. Luckily though, color production seems to be pretty decent. Indoors and low lighting shots, there's a significant amount of noise, which does muddy the images overall. Furthermore, don't expect too much about its video capturing capability just because it has maximum shooting resolution of 320 by 240 and shoots it at a frame rate of 15 frames per second. So there are some jerky movements to it, and on top of that, there isn't that much detail as it looks a little bit more pixelated. Calling quality is more than acceptable just because on both ends of the line, voices sound clear and distinct with very good tones, although on our end there's just a very faint amount of noise in the background which didn't hinder us from making our conversations. As far as using the speakerphone, it does present a pretty good audible level tones and didn't crackle at the highest volume setting. As far as battery life, it seems to be a little bit better than what the manufacturer has it rated for. In fact, we managed to get 6 hours of continuous talk time in a single charge, where the manufacturer has it rated for 5 hours of talk and 250 hours of standby time. In addition to that, it looks like we have a pretty good amount of bars, and we didn't have any issues as far as drop calls. Although it might not be a dramatic step up from its predecessor, the Samsung Solstice II offers a well-rounded mix of performances in various categories to satisfy the needs of most basic users out there. It might not be the prettiest looking device out there compared to others such as the Samsung Mythic, also an AT&T. It should be good enough, especially for its $30 on-contract price. If you require a little bit more, you might want to look up some smartphones such as the Motorola Flip Out, which will require a little bit more money, but obviously you get a little depth, more features. So if you'd like to learn more about the Samsung Solstice 2 or for all latest cell phone reviews, news, specs, and information, you can check us out at PhoneArena.com.